Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Alok Srivastava.
Pretty bright for me. Let me start by saying thank you. Taking time from your day, spending a few hours with us, learning new technology, and and expecting to partner with us. It means a lot to me, means a lot to my team, and means a lot to UiPath overall. I'm in the learning team, UiPath learning team, and one of the programs that I'm leading, we're building, is the Academic Alliance program. So my job today is to introduce what we are doing. Personally, I do not like to overpromise, so I won't share everything that is in the works, but I'll share what actually is happening, and you can expect it to be delivered, right? And as we go forward through the year and next year, you'll see a lot more that will come in. So with that, so I'm sharing this data, this slide, at the risk of my job. I'm not supposed to share this, but I thought it's important to make some points. Why is it going back? Okay. So this is a real case. I've been engaged with this organization from a learning side for over 5-6 months now. I've changed the numbers, but the ratios are very representative. So this organization is a global company, very successful company. It has over 100,000 employees. And the company took almost like a leading edge decision to deploy a bot on every desktop. So every single employee in that company, they're deploying bots, right? And this is again to the discussion we were having earlier, is to assist people become more productive and less stressful, right, with mundane work. And when we talk about 100,000 employees, I'm talking about knowledge workers, right? It's a much larger company than 100,000, but 100,000 are knowledge workers who can take advantage of the automation. So when we are doing their organization development plan, the way it was coming out, every single knowledge worker needs to know how to use a bot, obviously, because it's on their desktop, they have to use it. And second thing is they have to be able to identify processes that should be automated so that their productivity increases further. So out of 100,000, then the expectation is that 7 to 10,000 would be what we can call a junior RPA developer, right? They're not coders, they're not like deep skilled on programming, but they are able to do simple automation, That's about 7 to 10% of their population overall. And then they're expecting 200 to 500 employees to be deep skilled, right? They are like really complex automation because again, a corporation of that size and multi-billion dollar company will have huge complex processes that they have to automate. So think about like 100,000, 7 to 10% being, enough to automate simple processes, and let's say, 0.02 to 0.05, 0.5% being actually the experts. The reason I have those headers or numbers in red, that's their expectation. They don't know whether they'll find that many people in the company. Right? So even though the project is going on, they actually have done so far about 20,000 robots deployed. They are not sure if they'll have enough people to actually carry through the project, that they require. Now, your company would be a different size. Your institute may be a different size. Could be 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people, 100 people, right? But the ratios would stick. And I'm just doing like a common sense math, right? The ratios are going to stick in every single organization. It may be this year, next year, 2 years, 5 years from now, but this scenario would play out in every single company around the world. Because it just makes so much sense. Productivity-wise, efficiency-wise, cost savings-wise. So it's going to happen. Whether we are with it or we are resisting it, it's going to happen. Let's take this to the mega level. So I was looking for a number that can tell me how many knowledge workers are deployed worldwide. Then we can see the market size for reskilling and upskilling, and I couldn't find one. But I found one article, and I think it was by KPMG, that said that in US, there are about 40 million knowledge workers that are working today. It was last year's article, I believe. So if US is 40 million, let's just take a very conservative number to say that globally there are 100 million. I'm sure it's like maybe 200, 250, but let's just take 100 million knowledge workers are working today, who require skilling and reskilling, right, in many forms. So if we take that 100 million and use the same ratios, which means we need at least 7 to 10 million junior RPA developers, and we need like 500,000, let's say 200K to 500,000 experts, right, today. And as we grow further, the numbers are going to grow. So let's just take a round figure of 10 million, right? Combining senior RPA developers, junior RPA developers, and experts, say 10 million people need to be trained as RPA developers, and 100 million need to be trained as users, right? And this is not just where the story stops. Then you get into other roles. We just talked about RPA developers. Every single role, infrastructure, right? You have architects, you have business analysts, you have project managers, all the people in different roles, they also need to be skilled and reskilled. Otherwise, we'll be left behind. Someone was saying that we don't have professors who can pick up RPA and train and educate students. 5 years back, I was doing a survey of universities worldwide. There are universities, or there were universities 5 years back, who were educating students on COBOL programming. In 2000s, there were classes running on COBOL programming. Now, if that is the level that the institute is behind, then obviously the students will not be employable afterwards, right? So we have to be with the technology, especially in the technical curriculum. So all these combined roles could be another 10 million, right? So we are talking about a problem that requires reskilling today of roughly 20 million people globally. And whatever we do is going to be a drop in the ocean, right? And that was the primary reason why we started to think about academic alliances. I say UiPath alone will not be able to address, no matter how ambitious we can be, we'll not be able to address this huge challenge. It needs partnerships across the industry, right? And that's kind of the starting of the academic alliance thought process. One more thing before I get into the program. These are nothing but headlines from different articles, newspapers, websites, and so on. And you can see, even today in the evening when you go back, just do a search on RPA jobs and see how many articles you get from all across the globe, right? And it's very real. I've been involved with this project 3-4 months. I have had discussions with Singapore government, like Singapore ministry. We're talking to German ministries, who are having initiatives at the government level to reskill their citizens. Right? India has started to have those discussions now. European Union has a body that we're interacting with. I got a contact from World Bank. So it's like, for the under less developed countries and so on. So I don't know how far this will go, but the challenge is being recognized at all levels. The government's getting involved. Singapore are actually having a fund aside for reskilling, upskilling of their citizens, actually. So anybody can go in and get enrolled in a course, and the government will pay for that course. Right? Germany started to do that. So it's a very massive scale execution that's required to make this work. So the vision we have, and I won't be wrong to say that whether we like it or not, whether we think people may lose job or things like that, it is going to happen. The reality is you cannot stop automation just because of the value it brings on the table. So we can either be ahead of the curve, with the curve, or behind the curve. So at UiPath, and this comes from the company's heart basically, and that you'll see, is that we are looking at, yes, automated world, but fully employed world. And the role that we are playing on the technology front, we want to play a similar role in skilling and upskilling of the workforce across the globe so that both of them maintain the balance, right? So that's the overall vision, and the way we want to do that is through partnerships, through the alliances that we create, and this is our first formal event, and we'll have many, many more of these over the years. But you're looking at universities, colleges, high schools, for-profit companies, non-profit companies, essentially take it forward as far as we can go, because that's required. It's required for the industries to succeed. I went back. So if you think the overall spectrum of this program, we are talking about 5 major pillars. And maybe I'm missing one, but that can be added later on. But these are the 5 that we believe we need to work on. Higher education program, which means working with universities and colleges worldwide. And there was I think a comment of making kind of an RPA curriculum a standard within your overall curriculum, right? RPA courses becoming standard. So working with universities to make that happen, working with educators. Because it's not a standard course that some universities would have, some universities may not have. It's almost like a necessity that everybody incorporates that in their curriculum. And we are starting on technology side, but it'll come in the business schools as well very fast. In fact, I'm working with 3 business schools right now who are working with us to create a curriculum that will be suitable for non-technical students in that sense. So you're looking at educators playing a big role in making this happen overall, the partnerships. There's another interesting phenomena that's happening. As the faculties, professors, lecturers realize the value this technology brings to them. I'll give you an example. There's a professor, Professor Anwar in the University of Maryland. He has, in his computer science class, 500 students. And every semester, he gives like 2 or 3, 4 times, tests and exams to the students. And then he has to evaluate the 500 students, performance through the exam or test. Then he has to take all their data one by one, put them on a spreadsheet, and then upload that spreadsheet onto the system of the university, and then write a customized email to give feedback to each student. So every time he was scared of giving tests because he would spend 3-4 days after the test is given to process that data. And about 6 months back, he was very frustrated, and he shared this story, and he said that there must be a better way to do this. And he just Googled automation, and UiPath came up, went to the website, downloaded the software, got himself trained to the academy, and he built a bot himself to actually do that process. And now it happens in 5 minutes. And he got so excited, he actually approached us. And now, as we speak, he's running his first course for his students in his university, which he has himself, we are still working on ours, so he's running his own. And his feedback, therefore, yesterday was the excitement that the students have is phenomenal. To the extent that other faculties came to know of it, they asked him to come and give him a lecture for an hour. And his administration is getting interested. So by knowing this and seeing the value of it, a lot of professors and lecturers and faculties actually are turning into champions of that transformation that's required. So you might end up actually consulting with your own finance department or HR departments, become their advisor for automation. And that's not unreal, right? So it's not just the value to the students, but your organization, your value would be tremendously high. There are cases where people switch jobs. I know of a leading lawyer, who got so excited that she stopped doing basically the legal work and became the champion within the organization for automation. And she's driving the entire kind of workforce automation there. So automation educators is very important. Automation skills program is essentially, and a lot of you guys do that, right? A lot of you have evening classes, you have adult education classes, as part of the university's offering. So when we sign up, when we are partners in this, we actually, you would be able to take the same courses, same tools that we'll provide and run your evening classes. And I forgot to mention that there is no finances involved in this. There's no economics, basically, right? So we are not exchanging rupees or dollars to drive this. There's a common objective to help these students and help the industry, and that's what we are driving towards, right? So even though a lot of universities make money, they charge these students for the evening classes in adult education, that's your business, right? We are not involved in that side of the business. Youth in automation, I'll start with high schools that have programming as an offering to their students. I don't think right now we have bandwidth and resources to go and create buzz. I think we'll do some real projects with some really leading high schools. I'm working with one in New York, and they are one of the leading edge science high schools in US, and they are very excited to introduce that. And finally, diversity and inclusion. This is where a lot of people who are less fortunate than us, and for whatever circumstances they are in, they're underemployed, they're not employed, but they're smart people, right? So there are a lot of non-profit organizations globally that actually cater to their requirements. They train them on like Cisco certifications, Microsoft make them employable, basically. So we are talking to a couple of them, but I think that will become another channel where we'll provide the support for these non-profit organizations to go to those less fortunate people so that they can become more employable as well, right? So those are 5 pillars. Maybe I'm missing something, it'll come up. But to start off, what we are doing is we are focusing on the first 2 pillars. So we get that right, and then we'll expand further. We are having discussions with others, but in terms of timelines and deliverables, we're focusing on the first 2, which is universities, higher education institutes, and automation educators program. Very quickly, what will be available from us as part of this program for these students? Obviously, they'll have access to UiPath technologies, right? So we're building the course based upon community edition, so that any student for their own personal use, but definitely for the classes, can use that technology. We'll provide a very high quality curriculum so that they can learn from there through their universities and colleges. We'll provide free certification attempts so that they can get certified if they want. The entire goal is for them to be relevant for today's workforce and tomorrow's workforce and be highly employable, right? And certification helps in that way. Obviously, your university degrees matter a lot more. We'll create a student ambassador program this year, which will be experienced students would kind of share, become the champions within the university to attract the newcomers, so that there's a buzz created. And then finally, they'll be part of the community or a forum where they'll have access to experts and other practitioners to ask questions, have clarifications, and all that stuff, right? So for the universities, we'll provide the entire curriculum, which we are building right now, along with lab exercises and so on. Our goal is that the course is designed in such a way that meets your standard requirements and the structure, right? The curriculum structure, so that it can qualify for a credit course, right? Because it will be highly valuable for students if they get credits for spending time, whether it's essential, whether it's a required course or elective, that's up to you. But essentially, it will be formatted in a way that it's suitable for a college curriculum. The kit would include, obviously, the courseware, case studies, and other learning aids, right? Projects and other things. We'll have a program where, starting in second quarter, we'll start doing train the trainers, knowledge transfer to the faculties, and that's extremely important. And then, for the purpose of education, we'll be providing 2 licenses of full-fledged software from UiPath. So Community Edition, the courseware would be based on Community Edition, but you will have licenses to the full software so that you can experiment with that, so that will be very valuable for the duration of the agreement, right? Anytime the company launches something new, updates the product or new features and functionality, we'll run refreshers, so we'll provide you the refresher material so that you're up to date on technology. We are going to create an online, we're working on this, online private community, like secured community, where only the faculties would interact, right? So you can share your question banks, you can share projects. If you have developed a course you want to like share with other professors around the world, you can have access to that community and you'll be part of that. And finally, we'll provide you access to the logo, as well as some of the marketing materials, so that both ways, like you can promote the curriculum to the students, but also promote your institutes in the marketplace, right? Because that partnership with UiPath is so significant that it'll give an edge to your institute as well. So these are some of the things that we are offering. The only one thing we are expecting from you to maintain that relationship, that you run at least one class a year. But because we do all this for you and you don't even run one class, then the relationship actually is not productive. But then we'll have discussion. But that's the only expectation that we are having, is that you run one, regular class a year. And once and I'm sure you'll actually fill more than that, but at least one is kind of a commitment that we are seeking. I won't walk you through what the course looks like, but just to let you know, we are starting with the technical course to build junior RPA developer skill sets. Because that is the hardest skill set to find in the marketplace, and that's kind of a success factor. And then in the next phase, we'll work on business courses and business analyst courses and so on and so forth. In terms of timelines, and this is my last slide. In terms of timelines, this quarter, if you are yourself a faculty that is interested, I think ideal would be for you to download the software today, enroll in the academy, and get yourself certified in the next 2-3 months. If you get certified through your UiPath Academy, you're pretty good on technology to take up the course we are building and run with it, right? So I would strongly recommend, certification is at no charge, and even if when we are charging in future, for you it will be at no charge, right? And then by March, we'll have online agreements available. So make it very simple for you to join the program. Right now, if you want to join it, it's a paperwork, right? It's a legal to legal discussions and all that. That takes time, and we are working. So we have signed up quite a few universities. But if you want to wait and make it simple, online agreement, that'll be available by March. And then you're looking at, and we'll provide the course, kind of version 1 of the course for you to look at it, and we'll provide the training in second quarter. The entire goal is that September we go live, because most of the universities start the semester in September. If you have a requirement to start that early, please reach out to us. We'll work with you and see what we can do. There are few universities have approached that are starting in April. So we'll figure out a way to make that happen. But September is what, I'm expecting at least 100 universities globally to launch it for the semester starting in September. Our email is very simple, academic.alliance@uipath.com. So if you have any questions, I can take 1 or 2 for now. I have like 2 minutes. So I can take 1 or 2 for now, but I'll be here after this. And you can reach out to me also through the academic.alliance@uipath.com. Any questions, any clarifications that I should provide? Yes, sir. No, not in functionality. It's like how much you can do, like, how many bots you can run, all that type of thing. But functionality is very similar.
There is limitation, it's number of bots that can be run using.
Yeah, obviously, because, that's meant for, you could say education, self-learning purpose, not for commercial use. Actually, both the licenses are not for commercial use. So even the full license for faculty is a non-commercial license. So but it is made for you creating like complex projects, for example, right? And experimenting with that. Any other questions, sir?
Any possibility to involve in Waivers Board of Studies?
Sorry?
Board of Studies every year. Every semester we are going to update syllabus curriculum in Board of Studies. So
Okay.
at that time, is there any possibility that you people can able to involve in this particular Board of Studies as a member?
We can try that, but what we have seen is that the universities take it to the to the board, wherever it's applicable in different parts of the world.
It's, for example, it's a deemed university. So
Okay.
obviously we are the people who take the initiation and we have to implement it.
Right.
So at the time, so if you are going to provide any suggestions, so that will be very much appreciable.
Oh,
And we can
absolutely,
able to
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
So,
No, Yeah, that's a very common practice. So we work with you
Yeah.
when you are representing it to the board for approval.
yes, hand to hand.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that we have to do that. Right?
Okay, fine.
And luckily, this is a really good sign because worldwide, these structures are very common. So it's not that for India, we have to develop a different structure than for US. So that actually helps us a lot.
And in your slide, what you mentioned, the case study concept. So case study concepts in the sense, real-time scenario, any problem statements that you are going to provide it.
So the faculties would have access to the normal support because they have full license. And the students will have support to the forum.
Okay.
Right? So, and forum is very active, right? You get actually more answers quickly through the forum than the support system. So, yeah, you'll have the support available for the platforms, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Sarita. I've completed my MTech just a couple of months back, all right? And during my course in computer science of engineering, I had the topics of AI and machine learning. But being affiliated to VTU, that's Vishveshwaraya Technology University, I don't think it's really feasible without the permission from VTU to go ahead with RPA or any such advanced courses, since it's not in the bandwidth of the MTech course. So how would you suggest us to really go ahead about this?
So we'll have to look at each university's like systems when they follow. And I'm just talking from my experience, is the faculties play a very significant role in pushing that forward, right? So yes, if your university requires approvals, we'll have to go through that process, and whatever support you need from our side, we'll provide it, but it varies a lot. So we'll have to take it probably offline in terms of what the challenges are.
DTU is very dynamic
Okay.
compared to the other universities. They are the first person to implement choice-based credit system and all those things. And if you approach, they will be quickly implementing these things. Because we are seeing the transformation which is happening in implementation of new technologies, all those things.
Yeah.
They, out of the open electives which are available with comparing with the other universities, VTU are far ahead. They have this AI, they have this Python programming, all those things. They are good. They are good.
Thank you. So my time is up. I'll be around here after the,
So,
after the conference.
any restrictions on number of faculty who can enroll on the UAE path, academy?
So we are expecting,
with the-
yeah, for the Academic Alliance program, per university or per college, so to say, it's like two faculties we're expecting. But if it is more for some reason, then we can talk about that.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So with that, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.